future prosperity of the St. Louis Cardinals will rely on the high upside arms in their system. And tonight, we're talking to one of them. Since taking over the podcast just under a year ago, you, the listener, asked for players. Well, tonight I'm delivering. The wait is over. It's time to find out who the surprise 2025 draft prospect is on this episode of the Viva Albertos podcast.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy.
Breeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
This is the Viva Albertos podcast on SB Nation.
Welcome into a very special episode of the Viva Albertos podcast. As always, I am your host, Jake Wood, and normally I am joined by fellow writers of the site, but tonight I'm joined by two very special guests and two gentlemen who have helped a ton over the last 2 years since jumping into the world of content creation. For my money, there aren't two more knowledgeable guys in the Cardinals community who evaluate prospects. First, I'll introduce co-host of Birds on the Farm, and you can find his written work at cardinalsprospects.com, and you can follow him on X at KareemSSN. He is Kareem Hawk.
Blessings on blessings on blessings. Look at my life, man, that's lessons on lessons on lessons. I treat the beat like it's a reverend. I tell the truth like Father.
Thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely. It's great to be on with you guys today. Getting to talk with Peyton and obviously you two, Jake and Kyle. It's always great to be with you guys.
And before we get to our special guest, which Kareem just gave away, my other guest co-host for the evening is a man who needs very little introduction. Host of Prospects After Dark, co-host of Wednesdays with Walton and Reese. You can find his written content at birdsontheblack.com and thecardinalnation.com. You can follow him on X at Kyler416. He is Kyle Reese.
Well, I went to the doctor. I said I'm feeling kind of rough. Let me break it to you, son.
Kyle, my friend, it's a pleasure to finally have you on this elevated platform for the first time. You joined me on Rambling Redbirds project several times, and now it's a pleasure to bring you to the greater readers and listeners of Viva Albertos. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't think I realized how fantastic I was until you introduced me. And then I was like, you know what? That guy's fantastic.
You're the best. You are.
Jake, I'll be honest with you. I didn't listen to a word you said. I was watching Eugenio Suarez hit a grand slam on Toronto and thinking that maybe our guest had some thoughts or some excitement with that, if there was any correlation there.
You know what? That brings me to our guest. Finally, last but not least, he was drafted by the Cardinals in the 7th round this past July, taken 210th overall out of the University of Gonzaga, now a member of your St. Louis Cardinals farm system, number 33, Payton Graham. Payton, welcome to the show, and thanks for hopping on with us tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, one of the primary reasons the Cardinals were able to get you in the 7th round was because of your recovery from Tommy John surgery, seemingly establishing a new trend after selecting Vanderbilt right-hander Andrew Dukanich in 2024 in the same round for the same reason. Peyton, how's your recovery going, and where are you in your progression right now?
It's been going good. It's been good to get into Cardinals org and rehab with these guys down here at the complex, and right now I'm just at about 90 feet, playing catch, nice and light so far, but yeah, it's been great.
My question is, honestly, are you a Mariners fan a little bit? Are you pulling for the Mariners here, being out of the Washington area?
I am. I actually have had the game pulled
awesome.
up as he hit the grand slam, so pretty pumped.
Yeah, I am too. I would say that the Mariners are probably my favorite team outside of the Cardinals in a lot of ways. So that was a cool moment.
Yes, it was.
So my first question, you really seemed to take off during your time in the Northwoods League last summer. It seemed like everything was clicking for you, and your draft stock was climbing as well because of it. What came together for you during this stretch, before your 2025 season at Gonzaga?
Yeah, really just made a little mechanical tweak in the middle of my year at Gonzaga, and had a lot of good momentum going into summer ball and really wanted to make a statement to our coaching staff, show that I could start my junior year, and really that was my mindset going into summer was um, trying to figure out how to start and not just come out of the bullpen. But yeah.
What point did you start feeling the pain? Because your first start against UC Davis was lights out to start the year. Was it during that start that you started feeling a little different? Was it prior to the start? Like, when did you kind of know that you were starting to deal with some next level arm problems?
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt great going into UC Davis. Went in there and felt great. I'd say my best inning of the that start was the fourth and fifth inning, and then my last batter of the fifth inning just felt a pop on the second pitch of the at bat and was pretty painful from that point on.
You struck out 74 batters across 65 and a third innings in your time at Gonzaga, Peyton. What is your favorite pitch to throw? And is there a pitch you're eager to try and improve now that you have all these resources available to you in pro ball?
Yeah, I'd say my favorite pitch to throw is probably my fastball. Just uh like being to overpower guys, and
For sure.
uh it's, there's nothing better than blowing a fastball by a guy.
I wouldn't know what
Uh,
that's like.
a pitch that I'm eager to learn is I'd say getting my slider and changeup dialed in would it really excites me to just see how far those two pitches will take me on my journey in pro ball.
Piggybacking off what Jake was talking about, at Gonzaga, did you work at all with, pitch design and, pitch shaping tools? And is that something that you're excited to lean into more in pro ball?
Yeah, I would say I worked with it a little bit at Gonzaga, but didn't necessarily have all the resources to tell you what you were doing, how to change shape. It was more so a guessing game at Gonzaga, and really just excited to have that feedback, that instant feedback, and so it eliminates the guessing.
I have a fun question here. So, if you could take one pitch from any current MLB pitcher and add it to your arsenal, which one do you think it would be?
That's a that's a good question. I would probably say I'd say Logan Gilbert's splitter.
Mm,
That's a good one.
that is a good one. So, kind of piggybacking off of Kareem, since he did it to me, who is your favorite pitcher to watch growing up, and is there a pitcher you like to emulate a little bit in your delivery?
Um, that's a really good question. I think a pitcher that I liked watching when I was growing up would be Felix Hernandez, just because I'm a Mariners fan and grew up watching the Mariners, and but yeah, he was real exciting to watch. Got to watch him throw in person twice as a kid, so definitely say him. And then really, I wouldn't say I try and emulate anybody on the mound, but little I've heard some people say it's got a little um uh like Tarek Skubal tilt and
Interesting.
um who else? Closer Kenley Jansen,
Oh,
a
that's
little bit of
fun.
his tilt. So yeah.
So, like, whenever you're pitching at Busch Stadium in a couple years, we're putting this out into the universe, right? Are you hoping that just like Felix, the crowd is chanting K K K K for you to strike him out?
Yeah, that'd be awesome, yeah.
Were you surprised as you're rehabbing from Tommy John, as you're going through the process of Tommy John, the amount of contact you were having with major league clubs, the amount of interest that major league clubs were still having in you, or was it, did it still seem tamped down as compared to where you were drafted, if that question makes sense at all?
Yeah, I would say it was honestly a little nerve-wracking because like I really didn't have much contact with any scouts or anyone after I had gotten hurt and had the surgery. Talked to maybe a few people, and then um really even on draft day, um like 15 minutes before I got picked, I got a text message saying, "Yeah, it looks like you're gonna go like 10 plus here." So, and then 15 minutes later, I was a Cardinal. So I was just pumped.
That's a cool story.
That all comes by surprise, right? That comes back,
Yeah.
like that information comes quick.
Yeah, it did. It was real quick, and I was like, "Whoa, awesome, let's go."
So
Who do you know who from the Cardinals got in touch with your reps?
Um, yeah, the first phone call I got was from Donnie Marbut, I think.
Okay.
So yeah.
There had to be some relief there, right? You had to feel at least a little sense of relief at that moment. Feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I did. I did feel really good. I was just excited to have an opportunity to play at the next level.
what is that process like when like for us who have never experienced being drafted before, are you just like are you keeping your hands busy, your mind busy throughout the day and just kind of keeping your phone close by to you? Or are you just like sitting there just staring at your phone hoping that eventually it rings?
Yeah, no, I think day one just went out to dinner with my friends, had a good time, and then day two, go to bed, wake up, and got one phone call right before, and it was just a scout telling me good luck. So that
Oh,
kind of didn't kind of it was tricky there with that, and then really just was watching the TV, and next thing you know, looking at my phone, getting all these text messages from my agent, and really just yeah, came out of nowhere.
so when the Cardinals start reaching out to you about your rehab, can you kind of get into maybe some of the nitty gritty or some of the details about like how the Cardinals have not taken the reins of it? That because I know that you're still kind of in charge, but how just how that process goes, the communication process with working with you through a rehabilitation.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals have been great. They when I first got here, did all the draft orientation stuff for about the first week, and then hopped right in with the rehab group. And um really, I remember texting the PT I was working with, and I told him, I was like, it's like, man, this is like the workload is about double what I've been doing. So
Hmm.
um, really just got so much stronger over the last 2 or 3 months, and really improving on everything, shoulder strength, forearm strength, all that stuff has just really improved drastically for me. So it's been
Has
good.
it has most of the work been with the training staff?
Yeah, most of the stuff has been with our PTs and training staff. But yeah.
What about the rehab group? Who else was in the rehab group? And did you make friends with some of the guys you were rehabbing with?
Yeah, I did. Some of the guys that I've been working out with in the rehab group are Brian Holiday, Cooper Jerpy, Jacob Bushberger, and then uh, King. And then, but yeah, no, we've all become really good friends. I mean, we work out with each other every day for 5 hours a day, and then we go home and hang out with each other even some more. So
Now you said
been
a
a real
big
great
name
experience.
there. Cooper Jerpy is a personal favorites of Kyle. So you hit you touched a nerve, not touched a nerve there. You hit the nail on the head for like one of Kyle's like buzzwords. So I imagine he's gonna come back to you about Cooper and what you think of him.
No, not just Cooper. I think Kareem can also attest to being
I
yeah,
yes.
Cooper's yeah, also being a big fan. But what I was going to say specifically between Holiday and Joe King and that whole group with Jerpy, that's a great set of personalities, is my understanding to be rehabbing with. So it seems like you're in really good hands with a really good group there. That's got to be pretty encouraging.
Yeah, it is really encouraging. Just the fact of showing up and knowing that those guys are going to push you to be the best version of yourself, and it's just a really good feeling to have.
How long have you been down in Florida for?
I've been down here since around the middle to the end of July, so three or 4 months now.
Are you guys all rooming together?
Um, we are, but I'm in my own a little apartment right now, so
Cool.
but yeah.
That can be, just over the years, the way that dynamic has changed. I know that that's become a little bit more of a comfort than
Yeah.
it was in the past. So that's cool. I just like to hear stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it has.
So Peyton, you talked about some of the mechanical changes. Could you give a little bit more light into what specifically you changed, before your time in the Northwoods League where you dominated and, rose your draft stock?
Yeah, no, really, halfway through my sophomore year, sat down with a pitching coach I worked with at Push Performance, and I was like, man, he was like, your fastball should not be getting hit this hard. Um, it's like 92, 95, averaging 93 on my fastball, and he was like, your fastball's getting hit way too hard, and it was bad shape, and was a little flat with my shoulders, I'd say, and then gave me one mechanical adjustment, and next time out versus Oregon State was 5 to 7, and shapes ticked up, and everything was so much better after that, and really just started getting uphill with my upper body, getting some tilt is what we call it, and um, that's really just what really changed the trajectory of my season there.
Are you someone that really likes to dig into the analytics, the pitch shapes, oh, my fastball's getting 19 inches of induced vertical break, it's looking good, like stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. I like to look at the TrackMan numbers and all that stuff. Just make sure all my shapes look good when I'm throwing bullpens and all that good stuff.
Is the access to that data, like, as since you've entered the Cardinal system, how prevalent is the access to that data, and is it just so much data? Is there so much more than you've ever been exposed to?
Yeah, there is a lot of data. I'd say um, there's some stuff that I haven't used before and some stuff that I'm familiar with, like the TrackMan numbers. I'm familiar with all that stuff. They have TrackMans on every guy's bullpen. They have Edgertronic, which I'm excited to use, and then uh, I've seen them use the force plate mound a little bit with some guys, and yeah.
How are the instructors down there? Are they really good at like disseminating that information to you and breaking it down into like bite-sized pieces, or do they just kind of give it all to you at once and you just kind of digest what of it is important to you and what you just don't really need?
Yeah, so I mean, really, it just I feel like that kind of depends on what you want to work on. Like I've seen him be a little more hands-on during the bullpen working on if you're working on like, slider shape or and then I've also seen him be a little more hands-off with a lot of the draft guys just, to see kind of what they throw, how they throw it, that type of stuff. And then yeah, they give us a report of all our data after our bullpens that um, we all have whenever we want to go back and look at it. College data, every bullpen we throw with the Cardinals, all that stuff, we'll have all that data whenever we want to look at it. So, yeah.
Peyton, I want to take it back pre-college days. Let's go back to high school. I'm sure you're excited about this. You were a two-sport athlete in high school, playing both football and baseball at a high level. What made you choose baseball over football? And at this point, do you think you made the right decision so far?
It's a good question. I'd say the main reason I chose baseball over football was because I got a scholarship offer my sophomore year of high school, um, and that's really before I started to play varsity football. And so took that offer, and then football is probably I'd say my favorite sport, most fun sport to play. Just but yeah, no, I really love baseball, and I do think I made the right decision. Um, to play baseball, and not everybody gets to be a professional athlete. And, that's been something I've been dreaming about since I was a little kid. So I think I did.
Absolutely. And you were a third baseman and a pitcher in high school. This
Yes.
great
Yep.
information. I can very akin to myself, even though My next question is, what's a better feeling? And you kind of already answered this, blowing a fastball by somebody or hitting a home run. Just for a little bit of context, my senior year of high school, which was 10 years ago, I was unable to do either as my fastball topped out around 70, and I had no reasonable hitting instruction my entire high school experience. But I was really good with those seeing eye singles to the left side. So what was more fun, hitting a home run or blowing a fastball by somebody?
That's a really good question. I'd say hitting a home run, man, especially in high school, as a high schooler, hitting a home run's pretty rare. So, um, I would say probably hitting a home run, but I'd say getting the chance to do them both in the same game was pretty good memory of mine. So, yeah.
Ooh, speaking of doing them in the same game, Shohei Ohtani tonight struck out the side in the first inning and then immediately hit a leadoff home run. What do you think about the prospect of like having to face that guy eventually, when you make it to the major leagues?
Yeah, no, that the competitor in me loves the challenge there. Um, but yeah, no, I'd be excited to face him and really would love to get after him. So yeah.
Is there like, when you think about it, is Otani the guy that if you made it to the majors, you'd be most excited to face because of the challenge? Or is there like a guy, whether it be somebody you followed since you were a kid, a third baseman, is there somebody that you think, man, I'd love to throw to that guy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say Otani and Judge are probably definitely on the list there for hitters, that I'd want to face. But yeah, those are probably the main two that come to my mind when you think about hitters in the game of baseball. Especially Judge, he's been doing it for eight years now. So, but yeah.
Certainly wouldn't want to take on like Kyle Raleigh or Julio Rodriguez. Like, would a little part in you die a little bit as a Mariners fan if you had to like, oh, I got him, but that kind of hurt a little bit?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
I'm gonna steal a question from what the Springfield Cardinals YouTube guy does, and I don't remember the guy's name. I feel terrible about it, but he always asks a question. Your last at bat, he'll ask a pitcher in the Cardinals organization. You'll get this when you get to Springfield. He always asks your last at bat as a hitter before entering pro ball. What did you do in that at bat? Do you remember what you did in that at bat?
Yeah, I do remember my last at bat, I struck out looking versus Oregon State in the fall of my freshman year, and that was my last at bat.
Well, bummer. I'm sorry I brought it up.
It's all good.
Peyton, what was your college recruitment process like? Obviously, you're from Washington. You stay local, going to Gonzaga. Were there other colleges that reached out to you? Were you considering any other colleges besides Gonzaga? So just curious what that was like.
Yeah, no, it was my recruiting's a little different than everybody. I was the COVID high school era, so coaches really couldn't come watch. But yeah, I was talking to a few different schools that had interest in me and Oregon, I was talking to Arizona, UW, and got an offer from Gonzaga, who's in my top three, and it was just a offer I couldn't turn down at the time, and so committed about 2 weeks after that offer. So yeah.
Was there something specific about Gonzaga other than just being local to you that really drew you to that program?
Yeah, I really committed there because I really wanted to win a WCC championship, and they had been doing that for quite some time, and it was like if you want to win and go play in the postseason, you either go to Gonzaga or you go to Oregon State, one of those two schools in the Northwest, and unfortunately, didn't get to play in any regionals my 3 years there, but that's all right.
I also read in your bio that your faith as a devout Catholic was also an important part of you committing to Gonzaga. Is there anything about your faith you want to speak to while you have the opportunity?
Yeah, no, that is right. I grew up going to Catholic schools, K through 8. and really just that's why we play the game. For him, he gave us a gift to be able to go out in the field and entertain fans, and really just want to show everybody the gifts that he gave us. Yeah.
How's it been coming to the park, like a park under construction with, but that is also like that massive of a complex at the same time?
Yeah, no, it's been cool experience, but I feel like it'll be even better once it's done, you know.
Yeah.
Right now we only get to use the Roger Dean. Our backfields are um under construction because they're doing the building the building right by our backfield, and so it's nice to be able to go out into that stadium and be able to practice and get your throwing done. So it's been a good experience so far down here in Florida.
Is it just the rehab group there, or are there additional people coming in? I know some of the major leaguers will find their way down there here and there.
Yeah, just right now it's mainly rehab guys. But yeah.
How was your throwing? I know you said you're throwing at 90 feet, very not with purpose, but in a very meticulous way. Are you on schedule? Like how's your schedule looking as compared to like the beginning of the minor league season?
Yeah, so my schedule right now is looking for start bullpens here in December. Um, and then, should be ready to go for spring training and um sh planning on being ready to go for opening day in minor league in the minor leagues.
At this point in your rehab, do you even start thinking about your repertoire at all, other than, just the basis of what you have thrown, or do you start already like toying with the idea of new things?
Yeah, I'd say I'd pick up the ball and, think about pitch grips and all that stuff at probably once a day, and then um really just probably think about my old arsenal and what how I've had success with that, and uh, really just what my point of emphasis is and coming back and what pitches I think are important to the success I had in the Northwoods and uh, the short stint I had last season. So, yeah.
Do you and Cooper Jerpy trash talk each other about Oregon State and Gonzaga?
Oh, that's a good question.
Um, not not too much, not as much as uh, uh Brian Holiday and Cooper do about who's the real Oregon OSU. So,
Ah,
Good.
but yeah.
Yeah.
is there a player in spring you're looking forward to getting to share the clubhouse with, or just get a little bit of FaceTime and interaction with within the Cardinals organization?
That's a really good question. I haven't really thought about that too much. I'd say, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. No, it's a good question.
Is there a player like or a pitcher on like the Cardinals major league staff that you kind of look up to and you're like that dude's awesome? Like I get not to like take the answer out of your mouth or anything, but I would feel honestly like Sonny Gray would be an obvious like,
Yeah.
man, I'd like to pick that guy's brain.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome if had the chance to have 5 minute conversation with him about pitching, Um, that'd just be that'd be great for me and my pro career, and just to pick his brain for even 5 minutes, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right, this isn't a baseball question, but Halloween's coming up at the end of the month. What's Peyton Graham's go-to Halloween candy?
Great question.
Oh, wow. That is a good one. I'd probably say um Reese's peanut butter cup.
Good man.
Good choice.
If you could dress up this year for Halloween, what would you be?
That that is a good question. Um, I'd say if I was a little kid me would say probably a football player.
Okay.
Um, But right now, that's I have no idea. I don't know.
That's
what I would
okay.
do. Just probably whatever my wife says to be.
Good man.
If the child version of Peyton Graham were to dress up as a football player, would they be wearing the Seattle Seahawks uniform?
No, they'd be wearing WSU Cougars.
Ah,
So, yep.
if you ate a bunch of Reese's peanut butter cups, how would the health and training section of the St. Louis Cardinals organization feel about that? The dietitians.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would go over too well with them.
That's a huge point of emphasis. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, no, it is. They first week here we had probably 3 meetings on food and nutrition and how to fuel your body, and especially being here in the rehab group, it's been great because we get 2 meals a day, and so the nutritionist, she orders the food and she does a great job of providing us food that'll help us be ready to go and compete at the highest level.
How much has that changed your diet?
That probably a pretty good amount, especially coming from college.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's been a good transition.
How long you been married for?
For since June, so let's see.
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. You did that. You did that math right. I got it. I'm there.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Peyton, we really appreciate the time tonight, and best of luck on the rest of your recovery. And I look forward to watching your highlights on X as these guys post of you over the next few seasons before you make your debut in the show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We'll keep reaching out and kind of keep track of how you're doing. Kareem, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Look forward to having you back on in the future, and especially if the Cardinals acquire any other prospects this offseason for any established players. Your insight will be very valuable, my friend.
Absolutely. It's great to be on with you guys.
And my friend Kyle, you're the best. It was a joy to be on the show together again. Look forward to more in the future.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking with you and talking with Kareem. And Peyton, you did terrific, man. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
Once again, you can follow Kareem on X at KareemSSN and Kyle at Kyler416. You can also follow Peyton on X at Payton Graham 11. I am your host, Jake Wood. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, we're doing our Reader Mailbag episode featuring Cardinals Assistant General Manager and Head of Player Performance, Rob Cerfolio. Have a great night, and thanks for listening. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Viva Albertos podcast. Please leave a rate and review on your favorite platform and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified the moment our newest episode is released. As always, make sure to give us a follow on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook. Just type in Viva Albertos on any platform to find us. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.